What's going on, Jeromes? We are back. Happy Tuesday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time, every single Monday through Thursday. Apologies for being a couple minutes late. I got bogged down doing a Kyle Hinton spider chart because people don't realize how freakish of an athlete Kyle Big Hinton, a.k.a. Kyle Chris Hinton, actually is. I mean, look at this. This is if he was 3 inches taller, he would be Quentin Nelson. I mean, that's what he comps pretty damn close to. But it's just free Kyle Hinton. All right, so we got Q&A, got a bunch of them. Daily live stream. Thanks for coming along. Link to the Discord, top left corner of the video. Leave that up for a hot second. Currently have 250 Jeromes in there. Yeah, it's a good time. It's basically a 24/7 version of the live chat, so get up on that. So we got a bunch of questions. We'll dive in right away. First up, Bryson Kent. Why does Spielman love late round picks, and would you do the Herschel Walker trade for Trevor Lawrence? So Herschel Walker trade. So in a roundabout way, it was 3 1s, 3 2s, and a third. I might do it. I mean, as dumb as that is, I mean, the Vikings did for a friggin' running back who couldn't catch that well, by the way. So I would do at least 3 1s for Lawrence. I would, just because that's the value of the quarterback position. Because how many first round picks would you give up for Mahomes right now? 7? I don't think that's ridiculous. I don't. Next up, Spielman loves late round picks. So Spielman loves late round picks, and you see a lot of good GMs around the league. They do value late round guys because with the salary cap, you do need to find some value for guys who are making minimal money. So 6th, 7th, even UDFA guys, if they can come in and they don't have to be stars, they don't have to be starters, but if they can be the bottom 5 guys on a roster, if they can play some special teams, that has a lot of value. It is. Every now and then, you do find a guy who rises up, becomes a starter, becomes a very good contributor to the team. And, if it doesn't work out, so what? Who really cares? The hurt of missing on 6th, 7th round picks is quite a bit less than day 1, day 2 guys. Just is. So I agree with I agree with that. I know fans get annoyed. It's like, well, you could have stayed and blah, 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 da, da, da. Well, okay, well, is there an appreciable difference between a 5th round pick and, say, 3 7th round picks or 2 6th round picks? Not really. I mean, once you get into day 3, all the blue chip, usually all the blue chip guys are gone in the top 40 anyway. So after that, it's sort of, there is no complete prospect anymore. If the guy is good off the field and he's strong, he's a step slow, or if he's good off the field and he's fast, he's not strong, or if the guy is strong and fast, he's bad off the field. That's obviously a simplistic look, but I mean, yeah, there's some, you do get flawed prospects later on. That's why you see a lot of small school guys go to. So, great person. Thanks for working hard to make this the best Vikings content possible. Keep up the great work. Hey, thank you. Thank you for coming along. If all of our players are healthy, which ones bring in at least a first-round pick in a trade? Well, Barr, no. Daniil, yes, multiple ones. I think Thielen would. I think Harrison would. Even though he's a little bit older, as well as only has 2 years left on his 1 year left on his contract after this one. I think the Vikings would hold out for a 1 for Irv. Jefferson would be multiple ones, but yeah, then we're getting into minutia. Eric Hansen. Zimmer to Dallas, McCarthy to New England, Belichick to Minnesota. Can we make that happen? Just 3-way Yankee swap. I don't think, Robert Kraft, I don't even think he would want any of the Mike McCarthy smoke. Even though, no, McCarthy's from Pennsylvania. Yeah, for some reason I thought he was from the New England area. DP, what pick do we get in the 2020 draft? Who do we take? I think the Vikings end up at 10. I think that's still Kyle Wilson, or Zach Wilson range. Sorry. So I'm re-listening to the great book Shallow Low Crossers, which is a book about the Jets. Also getting some intel on Mike Pettin. And the Jets cornerback in 2010 was Kyle Wilson coming out of Boise State. Didn't work out, and the kid was like 30 pounds. But yeah, that's hence the Kyle Wilson, Zach Wilson mix-up. Pulford Skull. Or maybe I'm just a hack. I don't know. Pulford Skull. Vikings need to package Rudy, Reef, and Sharp to the Eagles for a first and see what they can get. I don't think Howie Roseman would do that. I mean, so the need is there. Reef would bring value. I mean, their wide receivers have been garbage, although they are getting Jalen Reagor back. Their tight ends are banged up too, so I can see the angle, but I don't think they give up a one and take on all those contracts. Opposite ground shot. I mean, yeah, Washington could have an outside shot to win that division, as stupid as it sounds, because they're 2-5. Dallas is 2-5. Giants are 1-6, and the Eagles are 2-4-1. That's crazy. One of those teams is going to get a home playoff game. Connor McMullen, and his first time asking a question now that I'm stuck in pseudo quarantine from possible Rona exposure via classmate. I love the content and attitude you put into the work. I've been watching since I first really got football early in the 2019 season. Your videos have really eased the burden being bored and stuck in bed so far. Hey, get better, man. So it's probably sleeping. Stream tomorrow as a friend of skull from Alberta. Hey, skull up north and get better. And thanks for the love. Andy Shong, if given the opportunity, who would you prefer, Belichick or Bieniemy for the Vikings' future? Man. Well, in a vacuum, probably Bieniemy, just because he's significantly younger than Belichick. I think Bieniemy's 54 and Belichick's 68. He's almost 6'9". Nice. Actually, Bieniemy's younger than that. 51. There you go. So, I mean, just being, by virtue of being 17 years younger, that does make sense, as well as, even though Belichick, it really is a student of all sides of the game. Bieniemy being an offensive guy, plus Wilfs do have familiarity with him. Even though, we laid out the case that the Wilfs could swing on Belichick because they're big Giants fans back in the day. But Belichick, of course, was defense coordinator for their 2 Super Bowl teams with Parcells. I would pick Bieniemy in a vacuum, but outside of a vacuum, like if Belichick brought McDaniels and Nick Caserio, the personnel guy, it would be kind of tempting. It would be. Jared Lewis, if you could convince him to struggle with the Vikings for a year, you try to put together a package for Michael Thomas. God, Michael Thomas is such a baby back biatch, though. It just is. I mean, like people sleep on the dirty ass cheap shot that he put on Sendejo that knocked him out of the Minneapolis Miracle game. Sendejo was never right after that. I don't like Michael Thomas. No. Could you imagine top 10 rookie quarterback coming into the room with Thielen, Thomas, Jefferson sick? It would be sick. I think Michael Thomas is wildly overrated. I mean, how many 5-yard slants can you catch? I mean, I understand that that's as far as your quarterback can throw, but nah. Chase and Gelke, any cool hunting stories? Biggest buck so far. Let's see. I've only gotten one buck, except that was way back in the day when I believe I was 14 or 15. And it was just a button buck, like nothing really of note. And also, so I'm mainly a meat hunter, so like I don't really care about racks upon racks upon racks. And any cool stories? I just enjoy getting out, turning the phone off. Well, turning mobile data off, but being able to turn it back on just in case I break my leg or something. But leaving. So we use Onyx Maps, just getting out there. I do like. We do like 95% of our hunting on public land. So I do like hiking in farther than people generally do, just so it's a little bit less disturbed, as well as a little less competition. Just getting out there, sitting, looking for rubs, looking for scrapes. And also it's kind of fun too, trying to figure out how a animal just like would react in a typical day. So, they bed down at night, during the day, they get up. Where's the water source? Where's the food source? Is there oak trees around? Are there acorns? Is there a cornfield over there? Is there this? Or is there that? And it really is kind of like football. You can make it as complicated or as little, as least complicated as you want, because, there's people who spend all year with trail cams and studying, and it's like, oh, this is what this is what whitetails are doing in this situation, or muleys or black-tailed deers are doing in this situation, and with this blah blah blah, and then they still strike out just because of luck. And then some guy, some weekend warrior, just gets up off the couch, puts on some Blaze Orange, and grabs a shotty and out, and then like the biggest buck in the county just walks in front of his truck, blouch. It's just funny, but yeah, I'm not like a size or a rack kind of guy. I'm just out there for meat and just getting out is kind of nice. Justin Meldy. Also, that's why, one of the myriad reasons why I prefer Bo to Boomstick is because it's got a longer season too. So, Justin Melody, why does Spielman love 7th round picks so much? We already covered that. Connor May, because we have an endless supply of 3rd and 4th round picks and we need a 2nd round pick. Could we trade some picks to get another team a 2nd round pick? That's a good question. Let's see, Tankathon. Because the Vikings are in line for some really nice sugar and the compensatory picks as well. So as of right, meow. All right, so as of right, meow, the Vikings have their own 3rd rounder. They have Baltimore's from the Yannick trade. And then getting into the 4th round, they got their own. They got Buffalo from the Diggs trade. They got the Bears and the Ravens. I thought they had another 4th round pick. No, so they got the Ravens because they gave the Ravens a 6th round pick, which I believe they used on James Prochet. They have a 4th round pick from the Bears, who I believe they gave up a 2020 5th round pick, and they took Travis Gibson, the edge rusher from Tulsa, who I really liked. Yeah, the Vikings are out of a 7th round pick as of right now. But also they're in line for, I believe it's a 4th round pick for Trey Waynes and also a potential 6th and 7th on compensatory picks. I don't think anything's changed there. So, I mean, yeah, the Vikings will have opportunity because, I mean, right now they have 2/3 and 3/4. It's probably going to be 4/4 by the time comp picks are in. So, yeah, make a move, bud. Next up, Zach Ballas. Could this be the craziest trade deadline ever? Maybe not. Because I feel like the hype for the NFL trade deadline is always more than it ends up being, as well as with COVID. I think that may put a kibosh on some of these trades. Zach Ballas meme requests a Monty Python skit where the guy in the cart has a Vikings helmet jersey and says, "I'm not dead yet." Oh, wait, just a flesh wound? I still have hope, but if we lose this week, I'm jumping on Lions bandwagon. Don't do that. But yeah, it's not a great season, but frankly, beating the Packers at Lambeau would be kind of nice. Westworld still can't believe we lost the 0-5 Falcons, and Yannick was the only one to get fired. Yeah, the Yannick trade was absolutely not about him. It was more about the Vikings. But let us know where we're watching from. Give a couple shouts. Pro Cap'n. Who's got the best hair on the Vikings, coaches included? James Lynch. I mean, come on. Let's see. James Lynch headshot. I mean, come on, son. Come on. Next up is the D-line Leprechaun. Yeah, we're still trying to workshop a good nickname for James Lynch. Like the Ginger Snap, it's okay. I like it, don't love it. Next up, Miles. Oh, also Kubiak has great hair because it's just for men gel. Miles, how many games have you been to? I remember you saying you liked watching at home more. So when I was a kid, my dad and I would always go to the Vikings-Packers home game at the Dome, which was awesome. It was good times. Since then, maybe like 5 games. Hasn't been many. I've only been to 2 at the US Bank Stadium. One of them was a preseason game. And yeah, since we started cranking out content, I do prefer watching it at home. It's a lot easier to just hop in, take notes, be up to date on what's going on with the game, as opposed to when you're there, just like, well, there's music, loud noises, videos, blah, blah, blah. But also I like watching the other games, like keeping up with fantasy, as well as jelly bean wagers. And plus being at home so Sundays are usually preoccupied with work. It's unfortunate, but just being at home, making some chili, it's good times. LB, very conflicted. I want the Vikings to win. I'm going to cheer for them every game, but I don't want to go 7-9. Is it just me? Nah, I think that's fair. But also, if it's 7-9 by playing all the veterans who aren't going to be around, meh. But if it's 7 and even like a 5-11 season, except you're playing the young guys, you're playing Lynch and Wanham, the cornerbacks get better, and Troy Dye gets back in there. Maybe you play Oli Udoh, Ezra Cleveland starts at left tackle after you trade Riley Reef. Maybe Kyle Big Hit and Hinton gets in the mix as well. Maybe they bring up Alexander Hollins from the practice squad. He gets some experience as wide receiver 3. Then I'm fully in. I mean, all these kids learning to play together, learning to play competent and quality football together, that's going to be the name of the game for the rest of the season. And yeah, going 2-14 with Kirk Cousins under center versus 2-14 with Browning or Stanley under center, big difference. LM, any surprise retirements from the players after the season? I've always said that Harrison Smith strikes me as like a different kind of cat, where he's obviously loves the game. He's obviously very good at it, but he has a lot of interests outside of football. And it's not like marketing or business or stuff like that, but he likes flying planes. And Harrison has always struck me as a dude who would walk away earlier than you would expect and just do his own thing and, just recede into the background. I mean, he's never really been a money guy. So, I mean, the last few years, he could have easily clamored about not being the highest paid safety in the league, and he would have a point. But I feel like he's earned enough money. He's taken care of his money, and perhaps he could just say deuces a lot sooner than you'd expect. Tristan, do you have a second favorite team? For me, it's Arizona, mainly because of Kyler Murray. Watch his college highlights before he was drafted. I love him ever since. Arizona is coming up because Kyler, it's a lot of fun to watch Kyler. 5'10" South Koreans representing. See if I had to pick a second team. So I've always had a thing for the Browns. So when they came back in '99, it was cool and a trend. I actually had a Tim Couch jersey. That was the year that Puma made the NFL jerseys, and it was great. And I just feel, it's easy to jump on bandwagons as I wear a Lakers hat, even though I've been a Lakers fan for a long time. But I feel like sports has to have a degree of suffering. That's why I'm a Twins fan. That's why I'm a Vikings fan, and I would pick up the Browns, sure. Stefanski's there now too. Also, going back and learning about Brown's history, Paul Brown, and then he gets kicked out and he starts the Bengals. And, Jim Brown back in the day. And then also, they had Belichick and Nick Saban on the same staff. It's crazy. And like Kirk Ferentz and, gosh, who else was on that squad? Because like Ozzie Newsome was a coach slash scout. Phil Savage was there. Jim Schwartz. Scott Pioli, Mangini, Dimitrov was there. Pat Hill, who was a longtime great Fresno State coach, was there. Guys, a lot of interesting people. What are we talking about? Let's see here. Ben Weatherly, some team sure sign a late round pick will offer later round pick for Taji. He's gonna play 6 round. Yeah, do it. Hanlu Western, Andy, what's your favorite barbecue sauce? Not really a barbecue sauce guy. Like I understand that that's like the douchey barbecue things. Like, well, so good doesn't need sauce, but I'm just like, fair. I will say, like, when we do sauce for like pulled pork, I do like the Carolina straight up like vinegar and hot sauce. So just take like a little apple cider vinegar and some whatever hot sauce you like. Texas Pete, it's made in Carolina. That. It's like some pepper sauce. Put some black pepper in there too. Woo, let's go. All right, a couple shout outs. Let's see here. Ben Schlitterskull from New London, Minnesota. What's going on? Ludvig Johannes Thorstedt Skull from Denmark. What's up across the pond? Probably a true Viking. Jason Skull from Mankato. Trey for Stephon Gilmore. Probably should. Why not at that point? Anyways, thanks for coming along. You guys are the best. Pulford Skull, Nashville, Tennessee. Purple Rain Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for making this part of your day. All right, so what's next? Patrick Harms. I know a lot of trade scenarios have been talked about. If you had to bet, what do you think is the most realistic trade that could happen? I could easily see Riley Reef being traded. He's on an extremely cheap deal because of the pay cut. He's been playing at a decent level. Offensive line play around the league has been meh. So I could see that one getting done pretty easily. But then put Ezra Cleveland left tackle. As well as I think Anthony Harris. I think the Vikings may have to eat some of his franchise tag this year, though. Yeah, but yeah, Free and Anthony Harrison make a lot of sense. Yeah, I think those are the two most likely. I think less likely is Rudolph, and even lesser likely than that is Harrison and Thielen. Westworld. What team do you think will sign Cousins after his stint? All right, so say the Vikings just straight up cut him this offseason. I mean, the Niners make sense. I want to see him go to the Bears because I didn't even think about the Bears until we read that Jason Fitzgerald over the cap piece. But that would be so fitting, wouldn't it? I mean, come on. Captain Boat Bronze. If you could pick who you want your starting corners to be, if we could trade for them, if you could pick. Well, Stephon Gilmore and Tre'Davious White, or Trey White and Marlon Humphrey, or, I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy. Big Richard Nick, would you trade for Darnold and a future pick so we could draft a different position at 10ish or trade down? I like Darnold. I think he's been squandered with the Jets. I think you can get him relatively cheap. I think Joe Douglas has no love for him. I think they're going to take Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields anyway. But acquiring Darnold, I don't think that should preclude you from taking a quarterback if the right one falls to you, wherever you're drafting the first round. It does give you some flexibility. Like say Penny Sewell falls, or maybe Wyatt Davis strikes your fancy, or Jamar Chase or Bateman, or Waddle's ankle is fine. Get all up in there. So when we did our video about Vikings draft position needs, we did a back of the envelope top 5, and I forgot Jalen Waddle in my top 5. I just forgot him. I just straight up forgot him. But it's early in the draft process. Griffin Creer, would you rather have the Oregon left tackle Penny Sewell or Wyatt Davis? Sewell. So yeah, because Penny Sewell's done it. He's done it 2 full seasons now. He got on the field as a true freshman, dominated. Davis had one great year. We'll see what he does this year. He's already off to a good start, but of course that's what you get by playing Nebraska. But also, tackle is still way more important than guard, and left tackle is more important than right tackle slightly. And Davis is just a right guard. Miles, do you recognize any of the names from the live streams? Yeah. Patrick Harms, I just read the Jets are shopping Quinn Williams. That got shot down, but you never know. You never know. That wouldn't be kind of expensive though. It would. Oh, and there's a great clip. Well, I can't play it on the stream. We'll get booted off, but it's from the college football semifinals, where it was Oklahoma and Kyler versus Bama, and it was this clip of Quinnen Williams destroying Samia for a sack, and then Kyler got hurt, and then Samia tried to start a fight with Quinnen. I mean, it's quintessential Drew Samia. Get beat, and then try and beat the guy after the play. It's great. Austin Arias. I know everyone wants to take quarterback first round, but pairing Jamar Chase with Jefferson for the next 10 years would be insane. It would be pretty damn insane. And God, would you trade... Now, yeah, I obviously don't know this for sure, but if there was a world where you could trade Thielen for picks that would allow you to get a quarterback and Jamar Chase, come on. Jake Winchell, and in relation to Russell Pearson stud Jerome Noah Carlson, last I heard he's transferring to University of Minnesota from Michigan. I thought he was going to join the football team. Yeah, Noah is my second cousin. Yeah, he's a stud. He's the third best athlete in the family. Face. Liner 8702. Out of any quarterbacks that are projected to be picked in the first round, which one can you see being a bust, or which one can you see being an absolute machine on the football field? I think Lawrence is probably the safest bet, just because he's done it in a pro adjacent system against the top competition in college football. Well, parts of the ACC maybe not so much, but he's done for multiple years. I think he is the safest. I'm still not sold on Fields. I get he's got amazing arm talent. I get that he's probably going to be the most mobile quarterback in the draft, but I do question some of his pocket awareness. I do. I think he's got the biggest chance to bust. And if it goes Lawrence and Fields 1-2, which I wouldn't be shocked by, man, is that stacking up to be a Manning Leaf situation, or is it going to be where's the spot where both quarterbacks have been good? I guess Goff and Wentz to a degree if Wentz can stay healthy. It's probably the closest, right? Next up, Ben Weatherly. Kyle Hansen, $10 in the super chat. Thanks, Andy. Hey, thank you, man. Ben Weatherly. Probably been said here before, but definitely not keen on Thielen, Harrison, or Rudolph being traded. I would prefer if Rudolph just took a pay cut, though. Well, they should have thought about that before they gave Rudy that damn extension. Also, I like that Kyle Rudolph. Maybe he has a point to be thin-skinned all the time, because every time that like the draft comes around or a trade comes up, it's like, oh yeah, Rudolph could be had. I'm not trading Thielen unless they get blown away. Harrison, I mean, if a team offers a first-round pick for Harrison at this point, it's kind of tempting. And then Rudy, I would give away for a song. Noisy Boy, do you think the Vikings should trade for Desmond King? He's on the last year of his rookie deal, so you're going to have to pay him. So I mean, before the season, when the Vikings still had hope, sure, but at this point, nah. Gerald Smith, do you think we will trade 19 or 22 at the draft? All right, so yeah, Thielen or Harrison. Blah, 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 da, da, da. How much do you like Wilson? Is he legit? I just want a quarterback for once. No damn leftovers. Like, thanks. I think that Zach Wilson does project to be a really solid prospect at the NFL level. I think that he will get into the first round. And yeah, like I said, it's a long way until April. But what I've seen from him so far, you do really like. I don't think there would be draft day trades. I think it may be at the start of free agency. T-Rag. We could bundle players together in trades for higher picks. I think Harris and Reef could be bundled together for Dallas' second rounder. That's interesting. Rudy and Barr together for me. First of all, no one's going to trade for Barr right now because he's on IR with that pec. Yeah, I think they'll just have to end up cutting Barr because that's a stupid-ass contract. It's terrible. Ben Schlittler, what are your thoughts on trading for Sam Darnold, Ravens' third-round pick to the Jets? Start with a fourth, but at the end of the day, it does cost a third. Okay. Samson Romaine, should we trade and get Everson back or possibly sign him back, obviously in the Phil and B-Rob role? Yes, but also I don't think that the Cowboys are going to be able to trade him. I think they'll just cut him because they'll have to pay him either way. Josh Dixon, would you rather have Trey Lance or Justin Fields? I know Fields is ranked higher, but his downfall of pocket awareness is a major problem in the NFL. I do like Trey Lance. I do like Lance a little bit better than Fields. I know that cuts against the grain quite a bit, especially when Fields had one freaking incomplete pass against the Cornhuskers, but of course they're in Nebraska. And I get the Trey Lance, the level of competition thing does come up, except I think he does have, I don't know, there's just something about him. Like, he does have due qualities. You do get flashes, especially on that arm talent of a Patrick Mahomes, and you pair that with pretty damn good mobility as well, and plus awareness. Yeah, Zach Ballas, Belichick trade. Isn't he the GM? He's going to trade himself. Well, it's more Bob Kraft and Ziggy Wilf. I mean, they're good friends that go way back, like chiroprac. It would be above the GM. Like, owners ultimately have final say. Belichick for a 2022 first rounder, I would do it. I would absolutely do it. Tristan, you should react to a TPS video, blah, blah, blah. Who are the 10 receivers drafted before Chase Claypool? Like, Claypool has 2 big games, and then everyone's like, oh, blah, 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 da, da, da. TPS is an NFL YouTube channel. I feel like half the comments are like, hey, you should check out this other channel that's better than yours. All right, but let's look at that draft. Okay, 2020 draft. And also, I mean, it's way too early to be, judging how, this class shook out. Because, I mean, half these guys are on IR. All right, so Ruggs on and off IR, had himself a big game in the Chiefs upset. Sure, Judy's been dinged up. Denver's a mess. CeeDee Lamb's been looking good, except Dallas is crumbling. Jalen Rieger's been on IR. He did have some flashes early. Justin Jefferson is a monster. Ayuk is a beast as well. That was a pick that the Vikings traded to the Niners. And plus, with Debo out, Ayuk's role is probably going to expand. Higgins putting up some solid garbage time numbers with Burrow. I think that's going to be an interesting combination for years to come. Pittman had like core muscle surgery or something like that. So he's been Chenault's been putting up big numbers with Jacksonville. I liked him coming out of Colorado, except you worried about the injury history. KJ Hamler, true to form, has been dinged up quite a bit. Then there's Claypool. Woo. Ian Book, how come you didn't put up larger numbers with Claypool? That's what I want to know. It's like, bro, you're playing ACC teams. Van Jefferson, Mims finally healthy. It's a great wide receiver class. Brian Edwards, again, the time of day with the Raiders. Duvernay. I really like Devin Duvernay. But after the Vikings went slot receiver in the first round, I understand. But he's also the only guy with a kick return for a touchdown this year, which is crazy. See, Gabe Davis. AGG. I think he's starting to get some playing time with the Washington professional football team. TJ. Chris Godwin is out with a finger. Needs some surgery, so maybe TJ will start getting some more work. He caught his first touchdown the other way. I liked Hightower coming out of Boise State, return guy. Quintez. I haven't been keeping up how he's been doing in Detroit. Let's see. No, KJ Osborne. That's you being the you. DPJ had a touchdown in the Browns' comeback win against the Bengals. James Prochet. I like Prochet. He's just not getting the time of day with the Ravens, even though they're having severe wide receiver issues. Jawan. KJ Hill. I'm surprised that he fell so far. I don't think he's doing much with the Chargers as of right now. Tyreek Cleveland. He fell because he had off the field stuff. All right, so that's it. Wide receivers. Next up is Juice World 99, Packers fan here. Even a rival, I think, with all the veterans you have for potential trades, you guys will be a force to reckon with very soon. I was like if I was you, I'd like a Thielen trade for an early first and take Chase and a franchise quarterback. Jamar Chase would be really good. God. Big Rover. If the Vikings don't draft quarterback, I'm not going to blame Spielman. It'd be 100% the Wills' fault at this point. I feel like the Wills defer almost to a fault. They do. At a certain point, you need to Bigfoot and be like, hey, get a quarterback, not Kirk Cousins. Anders Pelk. Would you trade a third rounder and multiple fourth rounders to get a second pick? Depends what the board is. Jake Lagavin. And also depends how this class shakes out. Because if it is a top-heavy class where there's 50 guys and then everyone else is just a guy, if that makes sense, then yes. But if this is a draft that's similar to this draft and like 2016, where the picks between, say, 40 and 100 are pretty, then I would keep the multiple thirds and fourths. Jake Lagavin. I'm a little worried the Vikings go with Bieniemy as head coach if Zimmer gets a boot. A non-playing calling coach, a great offensive mind, rings too much like DiFilippo. Well, DiFilippo had called plays. He just called bad plays when he was OC in Cleveland. Thanks, Mike Pettin. I think Bieniemy gets it more because X's and O's guys are a dime a dozen. Like, you can find any great offensive schemer. You can find a lot of great defensive schemers. You can't find a person who is suited for the unique role as a head coach, as a manager of coaching staff, manager of people, manager of the games. I think Bieniemy does understand that a lot better. You can tweet us, nagging and struggles the Bears, just and read thoughts. Well, yeah, it's a lot like scout the player, not the helmet. I mean, just because Brad Childress didn't work out, just because Matt Nagy is garbage, does that mean that Doug Peterson isn't worth two poops? Because Eric Bieniemy is his own man. He's his own guy, and he did not come up through the Andy Reid system. He was he was adopted by it. He wasn't born into it. He wasn't molded by it. I think Bieniemy would be great. Game of Sal. You think the Vikings can get a first rounder for Harrison Smith? Yes. If that was the highest round. Yeah, I think they could probably get a first somewhere. George St. Baptiste. Well, it's not more, I think they could get a first somewhere. It's more, don't accept anything less than first. Yeah. George St. Baptiste. Cowboys may know that Everson's available trade block. Go bring Sack Day home. I don't think you even need to trade for him. I think they'll cut him. Mark Jr. Hey, I love the content. I have a couple of questions. I would like to know what you think. Cut trade Kirk. Sign trade for Darnold. Draft Zach Wilson second. Because Sewell Subban. Get a high mid-round pick from Dallas. Draft Penny Sewell. I mean, if that worked out, That would be amazing. I don't think Wilson will drop out of the first. But I'm the rest of that I'm down with. I mean, cutting Kirk, just eating the cap, it's whatever. Trade for Darnold. I mean, hell, you could sign both. You could poach Rosen from the Bucs practice squad, get Wilson all up in this B, trade up with Dallas, and then get Penny sold. Sure. Boltman, any other GMs absolutely laughing in Spielman's face? They tried to recruit draft picks for 30-year-old vets. How do you only get a late third for a 25-year-old pass rusher? Well, demand. I mean, the Vikings were clear that they were going to unload him. They didn't really have the leverage of hanging on to him, especially since they're pretty high on Danielle Hunter coming back. So Ravens did that. Stupid Eric DaCosta. Zach Farmer, if you watch Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, his negative draft pro, the Dan Patrick show on YouTube, scouts are scary accurate about everything except for Kirk's deep ball accuracy. It's actually kind of funny. Edgar De La Lozpaz, what's the difference between Haskins being a one-year wonder with Trey Lance, also a lower level competition? I'm afraid of that, and also to play an entire year to the lower level and or draft selection. Well, I mean, there's lots of one-year wonders that work out. There's lots of one-year wonders that don't. So I don't necessarily see the correlation between, like, well, Haskins failed and he really only played 1 year. That means that Trey Lance is going to fail. I don't really see that. I think Trey Lance does have it together between the ears. I think he's a good leader. I think he's a plus athlete. I think that he has arm talent for days. I think that he does need a little bit of refinement, as well as that jump in level of competition is going to be a big one. But, I mean, the NFL has signed off on it before him. You look at Jimmy Garoppolo was a second-round pick. You look at Carson Wentz was a second-round pick. You look at Joe Flacco coming out of Delaware was a first-round pick. So I think the league is much more concerned about, well, how'd you play in the Rose Bowl? Or is less concerned about how did you play in the Rose Bowl versus, hey, do you check these boxes? Do you have these traits? Can we coach you up? Can we do this and that? Quad Life Waylo. There needs to be a hype guy. Then can get the team excited and pumped right now. I don't think we have that. Sign Everson after Dallas cuts him. Max Schaefer, Philippe Frank's opinion. I don't really have one at this stage of the game. Yeah, I haven't done enough digging. Let's see what the stats are, though. All right, so transfer, Florida, Arkansas. I vaguely remember him at Florida, but not enough to have an educated opinion. So, nah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting guys in this class. I mean, Jamie Newman, the Yank Me Off kid from UCLA. I mean, come on. Logan DeGraff, what's the link for the Discord? Let me just put it up in the browser. There you go. Sam Selinger Skull, Riley Reef, and Kirk Cousins to Dallas for a 1 and a 6. I don't know if they would do that. I mean, hell, they might, because technically Dak isn't under contract for next year, so maybe. Pulford Skull. Actually, Cousins and McCarthy would actually do well together, since McCarthy does like things on schedule and Cousins needs that. Even though, ironically, the best of Mike McCarthy was when Rodgers was just making up plays in the dirt with Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. Skull. If they should activate Browning and Cup Mannion, rookie time, dear Kirk. Your reign of dictatorship is over. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Samson Romaine, Alexander Madison, Arizona for a second-round pick. Nah. I mean, maybe Boone. Yeah, trade Abdullah. Hold on to Boone and Madison. Brady Miller. I feel like I'm the only person who wants a fire sale. Trade Harrison, trade Thielen. Don't get me wrong. Sad to see him go, but I'd rather have a future, especially with this draft class. But at what price? I mean, what if the best you can get from the market is a third for Harrison, or like a second for Thielen? Ain't doing that. Connor McMullen. If all of the big three quarterbacks are off the board by the time the Vikings pick, would you rather draft BPA or trade back in the mid-round, snag Wilson, recoup that picks? Well, you don't want to overreach like you did with Christian Ponder, but also I think the talent and depth of this quarterback class is a lot better than 2011. So by the time April gets here, would drafting Zach Wilson at 6, would that be a reach? Would that be considered a reach? Maybe, maybe not. or Trask or Mac Jones or all the 17 quarterbacks are going to go in the first round. Maybe not, but if you do miss out on the big three, it depends on who is the BPA. If it's Penny Sewell, slam dunk, yes. I like Micah Parsons, except the whole I am team BPA, and I like the term position of need. Like, if you draft for position of need, you keep drafting for position of need. Quarterback is different, though. That's tough. Just don't draft a cornerback. Miles, if the Vikings get any of the top quarterbacks, Wilson including a good O-line, this offense has the potential to be one of the greatest ever. Agree. That may be optimistic bias, but you look at because the fix the O-line, add a couple pieces there, get a good young gunslinging quarterback, and you have Thielen still in his prime. You have Jefferson. You have Irv, underutilized. You have Dalvin, one of the best running backs in the league. Let's go. Next up is Tristan. If the Browns trade for Thielen, what would be the price to say first, fourth, and OBJ? First and a third is a minimum. I don't want OBJ at all. Corey Mattis, do you really think a mobile quarterback is the answer when the O-line is inconsistent at pass blocking? Well, it's again, not so much a mobile quarterback, but one that's more aware in the pocket, because Cousins does them zero favors, and frankly, he makes them look bad. He does, where, just in a vacuum, if you had this O-line and you put Keenum back there, who had a much better presence in the pocket, had a much better feel back there, they'd look 10 times better. They would. Andy Skull, do you think Lance will drop a lot because of the level of competition? Nah, I don't think so. I think he will be in the top 3 conversation. His arm is bigger, but I see a lot of Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I do have my worries about Fields. MD, why does Spielman keep bringing in freaking cornerbacks? We have too many. Well, they're all bad. What do you want them to do? Not improve position on the team just because, can they play guard? No. Tristan, I think the Vikings should hit reset mode. It would be stupid of the organization not to do it. By reset, I mean trade veterans, fire every coach, and draft a new quarterback. Yeah, I'd be okay with all that. Scully, trade bars, trade for. Yeah, honestly, if this all adds up to trading up heaven and earth to get Trevor Lawrence, I'd be okay. Stanley Steamer, stop F around. Zim, Riley, and Captain Sleep 8 to the Cowboys now. Then dump Rick. The Ghost of Herschel will be exercise the demons. Pull for Skull, trade Cousins for Everson. They wouldn't take that contract. Southern Skeptic, when do we realize that the NFL is rigged and your favorite team is a collection of NFL jabbers? How much did they pay Todd Gurley to score the game-losing touchdown? Jake Pyant. So I'm down for a good conspiracy as much as the next person, but the NFL is rigged thing, how hard it would be to rig the NFL? Yeah, how many players and coaches are involved that just the sheer number of people that would have to be involved and not one of them talks? Okay. Where NBA, I could see it because your performance really hinges on one, maybe 2 players. And, of course, the reps can manipulate that thing so easily. Jake Pan. So if you guys want next week, we can kick your ass again so you can get an earlier first-round pick. Bring it. All right, so that is all. That's the Daily Jerome's live stream. Thanks for coming along. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to support the work, purpleftw.com/support. Join the Discord as well. We'll see you tomorrow again. For submitting questions in our community tab, we always put up, hey, put questions here. So that's how you do it if you haven't done it before. Thanks for coming along. You guys are the best. Skull, production value.